Hey y'all, it's Caleb with Brownells here, and in today's video we're going to be putting together a large frame AR upper receiver in 8.6 Blackout. So the question I get the most is why 8.6 Blackout? What's the point of that cartridge? Well, it's for all intents and purposes, this isn't the most like super technical explanation, but just generalizing. It's the large frame AR, so you're like your AR 308 platform's version of 300 Blackout. So it is to 308 what 300 Blackout is to 5.56, if you will, right? So it's basically a 338 bullet pushed into a 6.5 Creedmoor case. So it's just cut back, necked up, and then boom, you got a larger projectile on there. And what that does, it is moving slower, but it's an excellent subsonic cartridge. So for shooting suppress, it is the bomb. And it's just a really good overall, like, short to even mid-range, depending on what bullet you're using, hunting cartridge. So especially for hogs, this thing would absolutely wreck hogs. And I'm not talking about like the hogs at the club outside of Fort Bragg, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the animal hogs. This thing would do great on those. Anyway, I'm gonna feel like I'm getting on a tangent here. So with that being said, let's kind of just jump right into it. I'll go over the parts we're using here. Lower receiver, fortunately, is already built. I say fortunately, I put it together earlier, and it's one we've had for a while now. But this is an Aero Precision lower receiver, all right? And die-free company grip with a die-free plug on there. And then the B5, they're precision stock, but in multicam, because I had this multicam one laying around, and it is cut for a 308, so basically the difference between the 5.56 and 308 version is the length of the cheek piece. So this one has the cheek piece cut back so it clears the charging handle on larger frame platforms. But if you need to in a pinch, you can use it on the smaller one. It's no big deal. All right, so that's basically this lower build setup. Nothing too crazy or fancy there. For our upper receiver, we are using the matching Aero Precision upper receiver. This one I actually got as a pair with that lower, so upper and lower combo. Just a really nice, good fit there. I'll set that aside. We're about to use that. Handguard. So this one's pretty exciting. This is the new Midwest Industries Combat HD high profile for this upper receiver. So we're going to test this bad boy out. And these Combat HD handguards, man, they're just really well built. We have a video talking about them. So if you go check out the video where we talk about the AR-15 version, basically everything's the same except this one's a little bit larger. Okay, and they come in multiple lengths as well. Moving on from there, we have a SIG Tango MSR optic and mount. We've took this off of another build, so you've probably seen this before. And, oh, I didn't mention, the barrel nut for this handguard is like, they extended it. It's awesome. I don't know, I could spend a lot of time talking about that, but we don't need to. So, barrel. This is a Faxon 8.6. This is the 16-inch version. And 1 in 3 twists, which pretty much all of your 8.6 Blackouts will be 1 in 3 or 1 in 4. And the weird thing about this barrel is that it was threaded metric 18 by 1.5, which I thought was a little weird, but that's okay because Dead Air makes muzzle devices specifically for it. So we're using a Dead Air muzzle device because we're using the Dead Air Nomax 33. So this is a 338 suppressor. So this will work great for 8.6 Blackout as well as 338 Arc. So we have another 338 Arc build we're going to be doing and using this exact suppressor on that as well. So I'm pretty pumped about that, pretty stoked. Let me not let the suppressor roll off the table. And yeah, charging handle, Badger Ordnance. Really good, just really good ambidextrous charging handle. Wide handles on this one, just because I want to be able to get under there, reach up and grab it. And then we're also going to use, I haven't used one of these before yet, but I'm excited to, because they look pretty slick. This is a Strike Industries. Is that all the, ooh, stop. StrikeIndustries.com. Oh, this is just torque recommendations. Okay. That's why they wanted me to stop. So we have a little bit of Loctite, a wrench. We'll place that neatly over there. And take this out of the packaging. So this is an Arca rail. So this just locks onto the bottom of your M-lock and it creates Arca. So I'm going to put it in the back here, because this is for, you know, if we want to use it on a tripod, we can just mount this guy up to a tripod and rock and roll from there. Okay, that's everything, all the parts. Oh, gas block. We just have a standard gas block here. I didn't go adjustable on this one. I will if I need to. We'll upgrade that at a later time. Yeah, so there you have it. Upper receiver vice block I'm using. Of course, you can use your favorite upper receiver vice block. I got the Device Mark II here. And we'll just put our upper in position. Start building. Alright, so I'm going to need some Brownells Action Lube Plus, which I will grab out of my toolbox here. Make sure I have a rag handy this time. We're going to put a little bit of grease on the barrel extension, making sure we get a little bit on this front shoulder here, because that's where our barrel nut is going to be torquing up against. Alright, and then we'll insert this into the upper. I know some of y'all who've followed our content for a while, you've seen me do this a million times before, and that's okay. Alright, so we'll lock that in place. From here, we'll take that awesome barrel nut I was talking about. This thing's cool. Okay, anyway, slide it on, slide it over, thread it on by hand. And for this, anywhere between 50 to 60 foot-pounds would probably be plenty. So I'm going to go somewhere. Yeah, right now it's set at 45. Yeah, we'll do 60. And we'll just lock it on there. There we go. And if you have a new receiver, you can back off that barrel nut and kind of work it back and forth a few times. Even on existing ones you can do that, and all that's really doing is marrying up those threads as you torque it. But for this setup, we're not really going to need to do that. So let's just move on from there. Like I said, it's optional. You can do it if you want. Okay, gas tube and gas block. We'll install these two together. Slide them on. These barrels are not dimpled, and the gas block we're using does have three. What's the word I'm looking for here? Oh, 3 set screws. So we get a little extra there, but what I'm probably going to end up doing is dimpling at least one of those. We'll probably do that in a future video, but on all my builds I like to have at least one of those screw spots dimpled, if not just pinned all together. Alright, that's looking pretty good. We could check that with a borescope. That's a really good way to make sure that that fits good. But for now, we will just actually check it with the handguard. If you take the handguard, slide it over, it's really easy to get a relative position of that gas block that way. So what you want to do is just line up your handguard, which actually I'm going to have to back out the set screws on that handguard, those anti-rotation indexing ones here. So that's probably 3/32. Yep. So I'll just back these off. Alright, so line up your top rail, and then look down, and you can see the top of your gas block. You just want to make sure it's in the middle of that channel that's cut for it, and that's pretty dang close. So we'll go with that. Okay, and all that is assuming everything else is correctly aligned. Okay, and I'm just going to tighten these down. A lot of people ask if I use Loctite on these screws. Honestly, I do not, because the gas block gets so hot that even the high heat Loctite will burn up if you're doing any kind of rapid fire stuff. Let's tighten those down nice and snug. You want to get those as tight as you can get them without destroying your driver, your bit. Okay, now let's check the fit on this handguard again here. Oh, also, I will mention, on this Faxon barrel, there's a spacer here that butts up against this taper piece here. I think it's because of the way their suppressors mount to it. I'm not 100% sure on that, but they also provide this spacer so you can put whatever suppressor you want on there. Kind of like how SIG did it. Now, I think that's why they do it as well. They have a similar system, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll slide this handguard over. I'm sure like AI will fact check me on that or something. It'd be cool if they did. Alright. Or somebody in the comments, if you know, put it in the comments. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to grab these wrenches I put up. Again, as I mentioned, it's 3/30 seconds. Okay. And I'm just going to gently tighten these side screws here so that the top is aligned. I'm just going to screw them in until they touch the receiver. And I'm not going to do them tight because I want to get this bottom system put in first here. So this tab, I'll take it off here so I can show you. This tab will go in the bottom here, and then the through holes will align with the holes in it. So it should go in just like so. Then the screws go in. And I'm going to screw these down. I'm going to put this back in the vise. And then we're going to put a torque wrench on them. So for this handguard, these handguard screws here, on this version and the AR-15 version, it is 40 inch-pounds. So we're going to go 40 inch-pounds. That's pretty close. And making sure the top's still aligned here. We'll hit it. And that's a T27 size driver on these. Nice and easy. And then once those are torqued down, I just like to snug these up a little more. You don't need to torque these, you just snug them. Alright, cool. Now, that's looking pretty good. Let's get a muzzle device installed on here. Alright, so we'll see where this bad boy indexes. Obviously, this one does have to index because there's giant ports going straight through the middle of it. So we just need to make sure those ports are horizontal. So we'll see where it falls. I mean, that's super close. I wonder... Nah, I'm going to need to back it off. We'll need to be about right there. So it does come with spacers. Shims, if you will. Oh, I'm dropping them on the floor. Alright, so... I'll drop another one on the floor. Wonder if there's any more I can drop on the floor. I'm sure there's always. I'll be right back. Nailed it. Okay. Thanks for waiting. Now we just back this. Well, actually, I'm gonna leave it where I want it. And to get a rough estimate here, I'll take some washers, some of these shims here, put them in the gap. You can use a feeler gauge for this too, but if you have them on hand, it's just as easy to press these into the gap. And just keep adding them until it won't go anymore. Or they won't fit anymore, I should say. And then once they fit snug and I add one and they don't fit, I'll try and put that stack on there. And I have to go almost a full 180. So I'm putting quite a bit on there. which is fine. The reason you need to use these instead of crush washers is because these, well, crush washers will crush unevenly under that screw torque, which can cause alignment issues. These do not crush at all, so you don't have that. Yeah, okay. I added too many, so I'll just remove one. And these are different thicknesses as well, so you need to be mindful of that. Alright, and then now that's too far. So, if I can get one that's pretty darn thin, we should be close. So I'll grab one that's a lot thinner than the others. Ooh, that's pretty close. I don't have one thinner than that one. And I think another one of those would put it past. Actually, that guy's pretty thin. Sometimes I get this on the first try, sometimes it takes multiple. There we go. Okay. Now I just need to tighten down this. Alright, and so this one is a little bit larger, so I don't have a wrench that size. So I'm going to end up having to just use an adjustable wrench here, which I don't really like to do, but kind of out of options on this particular one. We don't need to go too far, I don't think. Yeah. Alright, it's nice and tight. Alright, that'll work. Okay, now let's throw the optic on. The optic's already torqued into the base and leveled, so that's just super convenient. I typically like to try and put the back of the optical piece here, even with the upper receiver. That's usually, actually I'll come a little bit further back. And then you see how some of them move back and forth on the rail. Push it as far forward as possible and then tighten it down. Alright, and I'll just snug this up real quick here using this same wrench. If you have a torque wrench that fits it, that is definitely the recommended method. I'm just kind of doing a hasty mount here just to kind of check everything. Alright, check the suppressor fit. Alright, that's looking pretty good. The thing I really like about these Xeno mounts is that they are left-hand threads. So if I crank on this thing here, and then let's say for whatever reason I've been shooting a lot, there's a little bit of, these don't really get carbon locked because of the way they seal, but let's say I need to get this thing off and it's a little tighter than usual. As I'm loosening the suppressor, it's actually tightening the muzzle brake, so I don't have to worry about accidentally unscrewing the brake, putting torque on this thing. And it still uses that taper lock. That's really good locking system. Okay. Now, where was I? Okay. Well, we can go ahead and ditch that part there. And what I may do, so I have padded vice jaws in my Brownells vise, right? So I'm just gonna flip this over, gently grab the rail, just like so. And then we're gonna mount this M-lock. So as I mentioned, I want to put it further back just because of the center of balance when it's mounted on the tripod, just to help with that. So these come with the M-lock screws tightened all the way down, which I really like. I appreciate that. That'll be good. Okay, so we'll just use a Torx bit to, what I'm going to do is turn them vertical, and you can leave them a little loose. So turn these guys vertical here, And if you've seen my video on how to mount M-LOK accessories, then you know exactly what I'm doing. Alright, and then we drop them in. Looks like the way this locks in, this is as far back as I'm going to be able to go. So I'm just going to loosen and then tighten. Oh, this one didn't turn. Okay. Trying to get a good view on it here. I didn't loosen enough. If only I had a flashlight. Oh wait, I have my Garmin watch available at Brownells. Go Gadget flashlight. It's like using a real life Pip-Boy from Fallout. Just to kind of see what's going on down there. Alright. I'm going to do this front one here because that's the most concerning one because that's where the gas block is. So I have the least amount of clearance right there, which is concerning, but we'll see if we got enough room. So it looks like, I didn't notice this before, but they don't use standard M-LOK nuts. Theirs are actually extended, which should make the mounting process easier, which is pretty nice. I haven't seen that before. That's pretty cool, Strike Industries, if you're listening. Okay, now I just need to make sure it's not hitting that gas block. Again, I'm going to use my Batman utility watch. I went from Inspector Gadget to Batman. I don't know which is cooler. Probably Batman. I don't know. I got it free spinning in there. This is in a tricky spot, so that's always a... There we go. Perfect. Now they're mounted nice and tight. And they said, what'd they say? 20 inch-pounds? They said 20 inch-pounds with Loctite. I'm not going to use Loctite just because I'm not sure if I want it there or not permanently. I mean, not to say that Loctite's permanent. You know what I'm saying. Okay. And we'll do the back, we'll do the front, jump back to the next rear one. And there you go. Perfect. I'm going to slide this junk out the way here and put this back before I lose it again. And now we'll just take a little bit of lubricant, put it on our charging handle, put it on the wings, throw it on that top piece there. Make sure you get the bottom of the wings and just a strip down each side. Drop it into the keyway. Take our Brownells 308 bolt. Throw some lube on this. This one's pretty dirty. We've used it in another gun quite a bit. And it's still going strong, so we'll keep using it. Drop all that into the upper. We'll use our Brownells vice block here. We'll actually put it in the lower first. Upper goes on the lower. Let's work our action a little bit. And I've noticed, especially when proof watching videos, it always sounds a lot drier on video than it does in real life. So I promise if it sounds dry, it's not. Let's put that suppressor back on. This thing's looking pretty good. I may need to get some more flat dark earth accessories on the front just to kind of balance out the flat dark earthness of it. Especially with that multicam stock. I may need some more green or something. I don't know. You know, whatever. And yeah, so that's all there is to that. This thing's looking pretty... This thing's pretty hot. This is a... I'm going to do some shooting with this thing. If this gun was a president, it'd probably be like Abraham Lincoln, because it's just, it looks good. Okay, anyway, so the next video we're going to be doing is actually, I say going to be doing, the next video we're going to be doing on this topic is going to be hand loading 8.6 Blackout. So we're gonna you know use some Hornady bullets, some Hornady dies, and get some good cartridges loaded up. Then after that, of course, we're going to have to go to the range and shoot it. So, stay tuned for all of that. That should be, we'll probably do that in 2 more videos. So one on loading and another just shooting on the range. All right, with that being said, if you have any questions, comments, experience with this product, I'll say this product, this caliber, right? Or any of the products we use to build this thing, let us know down below. And as always, if you need help with anything for any reason ever, feel free to give us a call on the tech line. We'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.